now then, politics has been dominating the news headlines for the last 3 or 4 weeks. We've had all the major parties holding their conferences. Yesterday, of course, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, delivered his keynote speech to the Conservative Party conference. But a lot of people are thinking to themselves, I'm not too keen on national politics. And here in St Neots, we've seen a sea change in the last 3 or 4 years with the way the political scene is. We had the Mayor of the Combined Authority, Nick Johnson, who won the seat for Labour, who was doing a fine job as well, who took over from James Palmer, the Conservative. Whilst here in St Neots itself, we had almost a clean sweep of independent candidates. Well, someone that can sort of observe all of this, I'd like to think of him as being someone who's looking to change the way we think about politics, is a chap who I've only encountered on Twitter so far, but we were going to be chatting this morning. His name's Lloyd Hardy. Good morning, Lloyd.
Good morning. Good morning, Steve.
Well, just looking at the national polls, the way they stand, if we're to believe a lot of the things we read, that big business isn't happy with the way the government are doing certain things, certainly the NHS in many respects aren't happy, and yet the Conservatives are still polling ahead of the other parties. So what would you be looking to see if it were down to you in the next few years?
Well, from my position is the problem the two things we need to restore that what I've seen in the past 5 years is truth and democracy. So at the moment, we don't really have a say in what's going on and what's happening. And the problem is that those polls that we're talking about are decisions made on information that's not true. We literally have evidence after evidence of information that's not delivered to us, not delivered correctly, inaccurate statistics. What I'd like to see is a way that we can, ensure that the cited references information is correct, and that we have the ability to make decisions based on that information. We don't necessarily need to follow a party political line. What's happening at the moment, we've got one side that's a massive conglomerate party, and the other side, 5 or more opposition that's been fractured. If we actually got together and said, okay, we want to change the way things are going, we can, with tactical voting, we can actually make big changes. So I think that's what's important, is for people to not be split and unite together for truth and democracy, and that's what my campaign's about.
Do many people really take that much interest, though? I know when we start getting leaflets through the door, we keep getting told that politicians working all the year round for you, but really they, a lot of people, not all, but a lot, just deliver leaflets just before an election and hope they'll get elected or re-elected because they've had the seat for a long, long time. So you're looking for a sea change.
Yeah, well, I think we need to start talking about issues and not people. At the moment, it's like what we're doing is we're having an elected dictatorship effectively in our system. We don't have a fair voting system, but separately to that, we're choosing somebody who's going to go and make decisions for us. And it would be nice if we could actually make decisions on the issues. I think for politics affects everybody. It's the £20 universal credit uplift that's been removed yesterday. This affects millions of people. So it's, I think, to help people to understand that this is politics and you can do something about it. We just see people, when they want to get elected, when they want something from us, they're on our doorstep. But if you're trying to actually, if you contact them now and ask them about the £20 universal credit that you don't have anymore, you probably, you get a response, but you're not going to get your £20 universal credit,
It's Black Hat Radio. We're talking to Lloyd Hardy this morning, who is the founder of an organisation. Is it an organisation, I wonder, Lloyd, called Gov UK, which is a non-partisan group. You've got over 4,500 citizens organising to restore what you're saying is truth and democracy. How did you start it all? I'm interested to know that.
Yeah, well, it's actually gov2.uk. Gov UK is the government. So
of course, yeah, absolutely.
So, maybe soon. But yeah, gov2.uk. Well, basically, it started when I watched the Prime Minister's special advisor last year directly lie to people and say that he drove to test his eyesight in Barnard Castle. And when I saw this, I was shocked that someone in such a position of influence could actually do that. The next thing was to say, well, what are we going to do about it? And people started researching, we started writing, we started finding out that the figures for leaving the European Union weren't correct. We actually paid £161 million a week, and we got $5 billion in trade that wasn't mentioned. So when I started to see this misinformation and propaganda, I realised we've got to change something. We've got to actually tell people the truth. People have to have access to the truth to make decisions. And academics and, like you say, businesses were all saying the same thing, that there's a problem here. And so when I started looking at why this was happening and finding out that the UK is world-beating tax avoidance, we have the top 3 places in the world to have secret money in the Cayman Islands and Bermuda, etc. So what I decided to do is document it. I documented it. We talked about it. We told people, and people in that kind of sphere read about it. And that was it. And then nothing happened. And maybe we had a petition or two, and then nothing happened. And so I decided it's time to actually do something. And what we've seen is that, people have been, parties and groups and opposition have been split up into different factions, culture wars, or, these people versus these people. And all I want to say is, let's unite on one shoe. Let's just get together and say, we need to make a change. We need to get truth. We need to stop, allowing lies to be fed into the mainstream media to people who are voters, and let's get a say on things. And so that's basically how it started. And just a group of people. We're just literally a group of people. Now, over 5,000, I've got 800 volunteers who are volunteering, over 2,500 hours a week just to get started. We want to obviously make that 50,000 people.
It'll be interesting to see how it progresses. Lloyd, thanks for joining us this morning. I'll keep your number handy, because it'd be nice to get you back on in maybe a few months' time to see what kind of a head of steam you built up on this. Lloyd Hardy, who has started gov2.uk, which is an organisation, a campaigning platform. If you want to take part and find out more, then I suggest the best place to do is what I did. Go onto Twitter and put @Lloyd Hardy, and you'll find out what Lloyd is all about. It's 8:49. This is Black Hat.